Have you ever wondered how a wasp nest can grow from a tiny structure into a massive colony packed with hundreds of wasps? Well, it's all thanks to the worker wasps. While the queen lays the eggs, the workers are responsible for building the nest, caring for the young, gathering food, and protecting the colony. But how does a worker wasp actually begin its life? And what happens from the moment it hatches until the end of its life? Today, we're going to follow the incredible life of a worker wasp, from its very beginning inside the nest all the way to the end. It all starts with the queen laying a single egg that will eventually turn into a worker wasp. She carefully places the tiny egg inside one of the cells of the nest, where it can safely develop. At this point, the egg is incredibly small, but it is about to begin a process that will completely transform it. Over the next few days, the egg will develop and eventually hatch into a tiny larva. From there, worker wasps will take over, feeding and caring for the young larva as it grows. But this is only the very beginning of the worker wasp's life. Before it can fly, gather food, or defend the colony, it has to go through several stages of development inside its tiny cell. After about a week of being fed and taken care of by the worker wasps, the larva has grown much larger and is ready for its next stage of development. It begins preparing for a major transformation by creating a silk-like cap over the opening of its cell. Once the cap is finished, the larva enters the pupal stage. Inside the sealed cell, something incredible begins to happen. The larva will slowly transform its body, developing the features of an adult wasp, including its legs, wings, antennae, and other body parts. During this stage, it doesn't leave the cell or search for food. Instead, it remains protected inside while its body continues developing. From the outside, it might look like nothing is happening, but underneath that tiny cap, the larva is going through one of the most important stages of its entire life. Eventually, the transformation will be complete, and a fully developed worker wasp will emerge from the cell for the very first time. The day has finally come. The worker wasp is ready to emerge. After spending days developing inside its cell, the transformation is complete, and it is now a fully grown adult wasp. It starts by chewing through the silk cap that it made before entering the pupal stage. Little by little, it breaks through the cap and pushes its way out of the cell. After escaping, the newly emerged worker is still inexperienced and has never left the nest before. It has to spend some time getting used to its surroundings and preparing for the busy life ahead. Soon it will begin taking on important jobs for the colony, helping care for the younger larvae, maintaining the nest, gathering food, and eventually even defending the colony. This tiny wasp may have just emerged from a single cell, but it is about to become an important part of a much larger colony. Its life as a worker has officially begun. It's finally time for the worker wasp to make its first trip into the real world. After spending its entire life so far inside the protected nest, it leaves the colony for the first time and begins exploring its surroundings. Its first mission is to find materials that can be brought back to the nest. The worker searches for tiny pieces of weathered wood, bark, and other plant material. Once it finds what it needs, it chews and gathers the material before carrying it back to the colony. The workers use these materials to create the paper-like substance that makes up the nest, allowing them to repair old sections and build new layers as the colony continues to grow. For this newly emerged worker, this is just the beginning. From now on, it will make countless trips outside the nest, gathering materials, searching for food, caring for the young, and helping the colony survive. What started as a tiny egg inside a single cell has now become a fully functioning worker, ready to play its part in the colony. After making its first trip outside, the worker wasp is officially ready to begin its life as a member of the colony. But its job isn't just flying around outside. A large part of a worker's life is actually spent inside the nest, helping keep the entire colony running. One of its most important jobs is taking care of the younger wasps. Workers bring food back to the nest and feed the developing larvae, making sure they have everything they need to continue growing. They also help keep the nest maintained, repairing damaged areas and making sure the colony has enough space for the next generation. As more and more workers are born, the colony becomes more organized. Some workers stay inside caring for the young, while others head outside to collect food and building materials. Every worker has an important role, and together, they allow the colony to continue growing. The end of a worker. Wasp's life. After spending its life working for the colony, the worker wasp eventually reaches the end of its life. From the moment it emerged from its cell, it has spent its time helping the colony survive. Building the nest, caring for the young, gathering food, and defending the colony from threats. But worker wasps don't live forever. After weeks of constant activity, their bodies eventually become worn down. The worker becomes weaker and eventually dies, leaving behind an empty space that will quickly be filled by another worker. But the death of one worker doesn't mean the colony stops. The queen continues laying eggs, new workers continue emerging, and the cycle goes on. While one worker's life has come to an end, hundreds of other workers are still carrying out the same jobs it once did. From a tiny egg inside a brood cell to a fully grown worker flying outside the nest, its entire life is dedicated to one thing: keeping the colony alive, keeping the